Rev up your engines!
Well, now it looks like more bad news for Toyota. 2024 Toyota Tacoma owners are reporting transmission failures, and the horrible part about it isn't just the automatic transmissions. It's the automatic transmissions and manual transmissions too. Toyota's starting to have some serious problems now. Some of these vehicles have less than 1,000 miles on them, and they're reporting failures already. Bad enough that they said they got to replace 104,000 V6 engines in the Toyota Tundras. It's a big deal, you know. Of course, the problem was they were making engines here in the United States. They weren't making them in Japan, where they got better quality control. As I've been saying for years, you want a Japanese car, you're better off with one made in Japan. In Japan, have a better work ethic. They do better quality control. Mexico, quality control, not so great. Strangely enough, they seem to have better quality control in Canada where they're making the stuff. I got a Toyota Matrix, Cambridge, Ontario. Great vehicle, runs like a top. They make Lexuses there now. Haven't seen any real problems with them. But the United States and Mexico, their quality control isn't what it used to be. Well, maybe it never was in Mexico. And not only are people complaining, but mechanics are reporting multiple Toyota trucks in their shop with failed transmissions. And these are 2024. Toyotas are supposed to last 10, 20, 30 years. Something's going on with Toyota. They're screwing up. Costa had a Tacoma TRD Pro. He drove it 342 miles. And the transmission went out and wouldn't move anymore. Sad times for Toyota indeed. I can't help but laugh at this one. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, says he blames high warranty costs of Ford on their sync issues. Music and talk and all that. Well, I can't help but laugh at this one. Listen to this. Here's what Jim says. We can all laugh, unless we own a Ford, in which case we might be crying. Jim says, quote, "The other things we maybe made it more difficult in a way, but better for the company fitness-wise, is we put a lot of new technology in our vehicles. That new technology is difficult for the dealers to diagnose when customers come in. They replace modules, unnecessary, etc., that hits our warranty reserves. We find that fixing this kind of thing is different than mechanical fixes." Okay, so they put all this technology in their cars, it doesn't work, and then the idiots at the dealerships can't fix it. I've been warning people about this stuff for years and years. The problem is, as cars are getting more and more technologically sophisticated, the people that fix them are actually going in the opposite direction. They're not paying the mechanics enough. It's not seen as a good job. They got these ultra complicated cars, and the guys don't know how to fix it. So when you bring your vehicle into Ford with one of these technological problems, software, whatever, they don't know how to fix it. So they start replacing the wrong parts, doesn't fix it, they keep going and going. You think it's bad that you got a car and you take it in to get it fixed and they replace parts and it's not fixed. Imagine if your Ford Motor Company and your own dealerships can't fix the stuff. Well, they've created their own problem. And the problem is unfair compensation. The top people are making all their money. The mechanics are the ones doing the work, right? But they're not the ones making most of the money. My grandfather was a mechanic ages ago. He was making 25 cents an hour at the Ford dealer. They charged 50 cents an hour labor, so he was making half of it. Now, they might charge $150 to $200 plus an hour, and these mechanics are on a flat rate system, might pay them $20-something an hour, but that's flat rate. That's not each hour. It can actually come back a lot less, sometimes less than minimum wage. So what do you think you're going to get? Geniuses working at the places? Of course not. They're going to use their brains to make more money doing something else. So they've created their own problems. And now Farley's stuck in the middle. He's like, well, you know, our customers love tech, but gee, our tech guys can't fix it because they're too stupid to figure out how to fix it. And then they guess with the wrong part. All I got to say is, hardy har har. Jim, you know, maybe you should have gone into something else like comedy like your cousin Chris. Then it would have made a lot more sense. You want to know what happens to people when they get rid of their Teslas and they trade them in? More than half of the Teslas are being traded in for gasoline-powered cars. The Tesla fanboys seem to be less of a fan after they've driven them for a while. That's a big thing. I mean, there's so many reasons. Let's say you own a Tesla and you get in an accident. It might be months before you get parts for it. Their service isn't that great. Maybe they find the tires are wearing out way too much and it's such a hassle to do long trips where you're waiting to charge it up. There's various reasons behind it, of course. But if half of the people that bought your cars when they traded it in went to not only not a Tesla, not another electric car, But to a gasoline-powered car, which means they can't buy another Tesla because they don't make gasoline-powered cars, that really says something. They may talk about, oh, these are great, we're all such fans about it. Well, if half the people that trade them in are getting gasoline-powered cars, that says something a lot. If these first buyers of new technology are going back to the old technology after one try of driving a Tesla, hey, it tells you, hey, the future doesn't look bright for Teslas or electric cars. Well, you want to talk about frivolous lawsuits? Well, people in California are now suing Toyota over the Toyota Mirai, the hydrogen car, saying Toyota monopolized the hydrogen market. What kind of a fool would buy a hydrogen-powered car? You'd know that. Where are you going to fill this stupid thing up? Now, Shell made a few hydrogen stations in California, but they've shut them all down since then. So the people in California have a suit that says we Mirai owners have to get our hydrogen from First Element. And it produced hydrogen from fossil fuels instead of greener alternatives. So part of this is a greeny thing. You know, they bought the hydrogen cars because they thought, we're getting something green. Of course, they never look into the overall picture. Just like in a battery electric car. Tons of pollution making the batteries. Tons of pollution making the cars. They pollute more than regular cars with microparticles that might kill us all with cancer because they wear the tires out faster. And all those rubber microparticles, guess what? We're breathing them in and then they go down the drain into the water supply, pollute all that. They don't talk about that stuff. They think they're green. They're not green. And guess what? Hydrogen isn't green either. You got to create the stuff. Even though it's in a fuel cell car, which only puts out water vapor and heat, you got to get the hydrogen. You got to make the cars. It costs a lot of money to make. Fuel cells aren't cheap. So as usual, people are whining in California court. This suit says Toyota tied owners of its hydrogen-powered Mirai into one supplier, First Element, and prevented other suppliers from accessing the market. Nobody wanted to access the market. Shell did, and then they left because they realized this is a waste of money. We're losing money hand over fist. Hey, if you're dumb enough to buy new technology and everybody knows where the heck are you going to get hydrogen, and then you're suing Toyota because you made a bad decision buying a hydrogen car. Seems like even more people are leaving California. Chevron Oil Company is now leaving California. They're moving their headquarters from California to Houston, Texas. They're moving from San Ramon, California to Houston, Texas. And they're saying goodbye to California and all your taxes and all that nonsense. Now, this isn't that surprising of a move because there's already 7,000 people in the Houston area that work for Chevron, and there's only 2,000 working in San Ramon, California. So it's not surprising they're moving to Houston. Ages ago, Shell sent their technology system from England, moved it to Houston, Texas. I know the guy was a big VP there. He kind of didn't like the American educational system, but hey, he made a lot of money. He could pay for private school, right? Even the oil companies are leaving California. Now that says something. California is a gigantic market for oil and gas. Let's face it, it's such a huge state. They use all kinds of gasoline, have all kinds of cars, but they're saying goodbye, California. Hello, Texas. And yet another company leaves California. Now, if you're like me, you're not a big fan of the airlines, well, guess what? Starting on Tuesday, United Airlines is requiring a $65 pre-authorization for basic economy passengers if you want to check in online. They don't even let you bring a full-sized carry-on if you're economy class. They want you to pay more for the tickets, right? And they made it inconvenient that you couldn't check on online, so then you got to come to the airport and check in, blah, 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 if you buy basic economy. They just want to charge more money. Why don't they just say we're not going to have basic economy anymore instead of being such scumbags about it, right? That's just absolutely ridiculous. You know what I say? You get a choice. Buy somebody else that doesn't charge you for all these extra things. So much for the idea of basic economy. It is one disgusting company. It really is. These guys, they just think they can do whatever they want. We don't have to fly. You can always drive. And here's what they call it. $40 is for a checked bag fee, and $25 is for the extra gate handling fee. Make up words and say, give us more money, give us more money. It's absolutely ridiculous. They used to give you food. Now you got to pay for the food, which is pretty crappy food anyway. I mean, buy the food at the airport at one of the nice places and bring it on a plane and eat it. And here is the most disgusting thing. This is what United Airlines calls this. It's being called a, quote, customer-friendly positive change. Yeah, it's positive change to them. I can't say it's customer friendly. They're charging more money. Oh, but it's convenient. You can check in online. Well, you can check in online all the other guys, and you don't have to pay $65 extra. This is a disgusting company. You know what I say? We should all not fly United. Teach them a lesson. They want to keep doing this. See, because the problem is if these clowns do it, then the other ones will all follow in. You have to nip it in the bud. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.